Hello everybody, welcome to Do For Flying. Today, there's something different. We are in Microsoft Flight Simulator and currently I am planning my route. So the plan today is, let's get in here real quick. We will be taking our Beechcraft Baron G58. We will be flying, oh, hold on 1 second. What's going on here? My computer is annoying me a little. For some reason it opened up my Navigraph, which I absolutely did not want to happen. Alright, anyways, today we are going to be flying our Beechcraft Baron G58 in Microsoft Flight Simulator from Sedona to Page Municipal in northern Arizona. The things to look forward to today are the red cliffs of Sedona, big mountains around Flagstaff. We're gonna take a tour around there, then head straight towards the Grand Canyon, where we'll do a VFR Grand Canyon crossing using the corridors. And then we will be following up Marble Canyon all the way up to Lake Powell, where we will land at Page Municipal Airport. So that is all of the good stuff that we are going to be doing today. I was just setting up our route, so let's check in here. Quick backstory is I got Microsoft Flight Simulator. I just installed it yesterday. And I'm absolutely not familiar with this yet. So it's going to take a little while to get this set up properly. Let's see, you want to actually... I don't know if we actually want our route to go through there. Let's see. You know what? We're gonna just have these big bullet points up here, and we are going to just keep our routing simple and not add too much complexity. It's pretty much straight from here, right? Yeah, we're gonna leave this in our GPS and we're gonna load it up. Flight conditions. Let's quickly get a look at what the weather is like in Sedona and Page. I don't know if you want to go live. Might be very bad weather there. So we'll go Sedona weather, Page weather. Include forecast, get meter data. Alright, no clouds in either. So actually, we should be perfectly fine. So let's go live traffic and no multiplayer, guys. So we'll just go hit fly and watch this thing start to load up. It's going to take a short while. However, that gives me a bit more time to start briefing you guys. So the plan for today is I have SkyVector as a VFR chart in front of me. And we are going to be doing a VFR Cross-Country. So everyone who is already a pilot or knows something about getting your licenses, they already know that a VFR Cross-Country is something that you have to do to get your licenses. I did those in the Phoenix area in Arizona in the United States. And yeah, it's really nice there because the weather is always pretty and you have a lot of visual points to look out for. So let me check this out. I got some warnings here on the stream. It's having some issues. So I am running Microsoft Flight Simulator through a boot camp on my Mac computer, which it's the first time I tried this, and actually it's a bit scary to see how it works. The streaming stuff is all a bit more complicated now as well. However, should all work out. So the cross-country that we are going to be doing is we're going to look for landmarks. So first of all, from Sedona to Flagstaff, we're going to be following the I-17 road. Then from Flagstaff, we're going to be following the I-40 down to Parks. There we are. Actually, our flight simulator has loaded up. Let's see if we can get it in. And then we're going to be flying the route. You'll see once we are en route, I'll explain everything again. Altitude that we're going to pick is 10,500 feet for the entire way. That's not really realistic. Normally you would pick altitude depending on your direction, but we're going to be heading north in the northerly directions anyway. And the VFR charts require the Grand Canyon crossing to be done at 10,500 feet. So we will do it like this. We are ready to fly. So welcome on board. This is our beautiful Beechcraft Bonanza in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I haven't really done much in this airplane yet, so I'm gonna be figuring it all out with you. So usually what I do is I take a quick look at what this all does, see if there are any procedures for it. Yeah, we have our engine start checklist. This all makes sense. Alright, that definitely all makes a lot of sense. So let's say we get our airplane fired up. So we'll go battery masters on, alternators can go on. We'll leave avionics master off for now until we get our engine started. These are all off, and we will get our beacon light on and our nav light. Since we are powered, all of these can stay off. Right here, everything is fine for now. Let's go our mixtures.
TOS system test. Okay.
Alright, mixtures go to full rich. Props are fully forward. Perfect. Then we'll go right engine boost pump on. Get fuel in. And pump off again and get starting our engine. So we'll go max to both. Clear prop. And I will start our engine. It didn't start. I thought I heard it start. See what's wrong. What did I do? Do a quick check. Cowl flaps are. We want the cowl flaps open. Aha! Okay, fuel selectors are off. Both fuel tanks on. How come there was fuel flow? Strange if the fuel tanks are off. Let's try starting this again. Clear prop. Alright, and then look for 1000 RPM. There it is. Alternator is on, fuel pump off. And then left engine, we will go boost pump on. Get fuel in there. Then cut off, boost pump off. And left engine starts. Magnetos to both. And then starter. Alright, engine has started, and then back to 1000 RPM on our RPM gauge. Alright, that is set up. Then we can go avionics master, go on. These are as required. Yep. And I will do our G1000 setup. Alright, so the GPS point in here is already set up. However, we are not gonna keep it like that. Oh yeah, we're gonna keep it like that. We're not gonna set up our entire route. Since we are flying visually, we don't need our GPS to tell us where to go. And that's the most fun of it all, is to fly looking outside. Or at least that's what I found out using this simulator. And let's set up our MFD first. So we'll move all the way around here. For our initial point, we want to have some help, so we'll select 11385 in our nav. 11385 in nav 1. Set that up. That is actually Flagstaff VOR DME. So that is set up right here. This is all fine. Map we want, GPS. Get topographical data, maybe weather as well, why not? Alright. That is all fine. Clutter, we're not gonna select that, we don't need it. Menu doesn't work apparently. Normally you would select some stuff in the menu as well. This is all as required. Then we will go down to our PFD. We'll select in the inset topographical data as well, and weather. PFD, I will go wind option 1, that we have an idea of what our wind is. Bearing 1, we will select the GPS, that we have an idea of our bearing and distance as a last resort. HSI format, we want the 360-degree rose. Bearing 2 we will not select today. Then CDI, we will have the single green arrow. We are not following the GPS track. ADF DME is not applicable. Transponder, we will go to on 1200 for VFR. That is fine. Timer reference. Let's see if we can. Oh, this is really annoying. This doesn't really work like I wanted it to. We don't want 9 here, we want 0, and we don't want anything there. Well, this is definitely not working. There it is. Minimums, we'll turn this all the way on. No, we can leave it off for flying visually anyway. Okay, this is all fine. We want that on the timer window so that we can start our timer when we need to. Then clear this caution message. Alert not required. Is there any menu setups here? No, it doesn't work either. Runway here in Sedona. Let's see. Get my navigraph up. We're going to be taking off. I don't know what runway yet, so we'll leave that blank. And we are ready with this setup. Alright, let's give the airport a call. So we'll select... there's no tower here.
Kilo Sierra Echo Zulu, automated weather observation, 19000 Zulu. Wind, 139er at 15. Visibility, 10. Sky condition, few clouds at 1,100 feet, few clouds at 4,100 feet, few clouds at 11,900 feet. Temperature, 14C dew point, 10C altimeter, tree 008.
Alright.
Kilo Sierra Echo Zulu, automated weather observation, 19000 Zulu. Wind, 139er at 15. Visibility, 10. Sky condition, few clouds at 1,100 feet, few clouds at 4,100 feet, few clouds at 11,900 feet. Temperature, 14C dew point, 10C altimeter, tree 008. Kilo Sierra Echo Zulu.
Okay, we have everything that we need. Let's go and select 213, which is the runway heading on our course bar. There was 213. Selected, and then communications is all here. So let's say we are ready to taxi. We have everything set up here as required. I think we might want to skip our run up because yeah, it's not really realistic airplane anyway, so it's not gonna matter that much. Let's announce our taxi.
Kilo Sierra Echo Zulu traffic Beechcraft November 24 Foxtrot Lima Yankee is taxiing to runway 21.
Alright, and we are taxiing to runway 21. It's gonna be a left turnout. Let's release our parking brakes and power up. Let's not look at that ground guy. Right, left is clear. And we're gonna taxi onto the taxiway here. Down on Alpha. Give way to the truck, he's in the way anyway. Is he really gonna drive through there? Whilst that truck is being annoying, we can select our taxi lights because we want those on. It's really annoying. If we can stay clear. Alright, we can stay clear. This annoying fuel truck. And then we can taxi down anyway. Is there another car on the taxiway? So many vehicles on taxiways here in Sedona. Unbelievable. Let's take a quick look from the outside of our airplane. We're in this nice twin-engine Beechcraft Baron. I did use to. I'm currently flying mostly twins as well, so that's why I picked this one. It's a little faster than a standard small single-engine airplane. He's really going to annoy us down here. We're gonna have to get... Oh, it's 2 vehicles. Why are they on the taxiway here? Good thing this is a bush plane-ish. It's not really a bush plane, but it's a plane that's a little more tough than the regular planes. Although we do need a lot of power to get it out of here. Annoying little cars. I hope no one else bothers us today on this taxiway. Let's see, we are gonna taxi out to depart runway 21. Then we're gonna make left traffic here in Sedona and depart left downwind, so to the north. The goal is to see some sights of Sedona and Grand Canyon stuff on the way to our destination Page. And the reason why I'm doing this is a little different. Why did my parking brake set again? Why are we stopped? Okay, so for those of you who didn't notice yet, I'm really not used to Microsoft Flight Simulator. This thing is really annoying. I'm used to the smoothness of X-Plane and all the controls being the way that I want them to be. Yeah, can't say that I'm really that fond of the controlling aspect of Microsoft Flight Simulator yet. However, it looks stunning. It simply looks beautiful. Let's slow her down gently using the toe brakes, which are located on my feet, on the pedals. Alright, make our turn, steering with our feet as well, and then we are holding short of the runway. That was a little tight. Now we can set our parking brake. Alright, and let's do our before takeoff checks. So we will select, do our run up first. So let's go power to about 1500 RPM. $1600 will do. And we go left prop. Really nothing happening. Alright, right prop. A bit strange. Alright, and then go power higher, set our power to about 2000 RPM. Agree that we only have top control now. Alright, there's some prop control. Then do our mag checks, so we'll go left engine on. Left mag, slight drop. Both. right engine to left mag to both, right mag to both. Alright, and that is our run up basically complete. Let's go idle. It's a basic run up, standard. I'm not used to this specific airplane and not everything is modeled nicely. So back to about 1000 RPM. Go landing lights on, strobe light on, and this is wing ice light. We don't need that. Oh, and pitot heat on as well because it's cold. Then we'll give the call here. Depart to the north.
Kilo Sierra Echo Zulu traffic Beechcraft November 24 Foxtrot Lima Yankee taking off runway 21 north departure.
Alright, release that parking brake. So left is clear and down the runway is clear. Line it up with the runway. So far, these runways are way more tiny than I'm used to. Alright, we are lining up. Select about 2000 RPM. Those engines are stabilized. Take off. Power is set and obtained. Good engines. Airspeed is alive. Engines are still checked. Oh. That was a bit bad technique. Rotate. Positive rate, gear up. Flaps up. Throw a bit nose up. Alright, we will select power setting, make our left turnout to the departure end. We can go 30 degrees in this airplane. And since we're faster than a normal standard traffic pattern airplane, we are gonna kind of skip our crosswind. We're gonna turn straight to downwind. You can see we are for sure far enough away from the airfield. We're not gonna be making a landing anyway, but we want to keep that 30 degrees maximum. Up to an altitude of 10,500 feet. At least if you can actually see something by then. There is 10,500 selected. Alright, and we want to be tracking the road. So let's see if we can see that road. I think that is supposed to be that road in that canyon down there. We're gonna be flying towards that canyon. We passed the airport there. We could turn our landing lights off, but because this is a very populated airspace, I'm gonna keep those on for now. Alright, that mountain there in the distance is the mountain right after Flagstaff, right behind Flagstaff. So that makes it obvious for me that we want to follow this canyon and not that one. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm looking for. Alright, that was 1,000 feet to go. Is there any way I can turn up the brightness on this screen? I am not sure. Yes. We've got it open. Power a little bit. Oh. We're experiencing some turbulence. There is 10,500. Let's just go into autopilot heading mode, altitude mode for a little bit. Alright, let's leave it like this and I can start setting up these engine instruments a bit better. So we want to have about 2,500 RPM. And we'll go prop sinker on. So now the propellers are synchronized. All of this stuff is inoperative. That is fine. And then monitor for icing. Is there any icing on our airframe? I don't see any. We're not invisible moisture, so we're doing great. I think I'm gonna leave the autopilot on for most of the flight because I'm gonna leave the autopilot on for most of the flight because I'm gonna have to be looking outside a lot during the flight actually, because we're doing VFR and in the sim it's very hard to multitask that way. Alright, let's go. Our oil temps are looking pretty high. Cylinder head temperatures are not too high. So what about closing these cowl flaps and then monitoring these temperatures? Oh. Why didn't it do altitude select? That is rather annoying. Now we should be approaching the Flagstaff airport pretty shortly. This is Flagstaff, and then we're going to be making a left turn heading to 86, following the I-40. So if you can see the I-40 out here, that would be very nice. Just take it from the other side. This is going to be the most fun part of the entire flight, I guess. I guess we'll see it once we get overhead. I think this might be the I-40. Should be pretty obvious. It's about 90-degree turn. Now we just passed the Flagstaff airport, so it should be coming up pretty shortly. Let's take a look outside if you can see it. Oh yeah, this is the I-40 that we're going to be following. So we're going to be making that left turn right now. To about heading up to 86. There it was already. To 86 degrees. Alright. It's not really maintaining altitude that well, this autopilot. That's the road that we're going to be following. We have to keep that in our sights. So it looks like our heading is going to be a bit off. Although it's leveling off in a strange, it's rolling out in a strange way. It's very peculiar. I think the next flight I'm gonna do is gonna be back in X-plane for sure. Or not for sure. I'm not sure yet. We'll see when we do it. How this goes. Let's see. Next item that we are looking for. To our left there should be a disused airport, and to the right, on the right side of the highway, there is a town called Parks, but of course that isn't gonna help us the name, so we're gonna turn a bit in to try to follow this highway. Now this little mountain, can I see it on my chart? Yes, I can. It is to the right of the town, so we should stay to the left of this town, to the left of this mountain for sure. And I think right behind there should be a US Fire Service heliport. Once we see the heliport, we've gone too far. Alright, this lake off to our left. I don't see it on my chart. And the big mountain is still just barely off our wing. There's this little mountain right there. We should be passing to its left. Between that mountain and that mountain, we should be going there. Next heading is going to be 351 degrees. For these headings, we should be at 9,500 ideally, but I'm going to maintain 10,500. It's already difficult enough to set this stuff up in the airplane in here. Still have to get used to this a bit more. Alright. Airplane's a little high. No, I don't know why. Looks like... No, this can't be the town yet. Aha, okay. Looks like this was the town of Belmont, and the town of Parks is probably going to be that one there. So we definitely turned a little late in Flagstaff. We want to turn in a bit more. That we are flying overhead the town of Parks. Then we can start seeing a bit better. Looks like you're a little loud. Obviously, we could cheat and look at the chart here because it's also on there, but we are not going to be doing that. I think in about a couple of seconds, we can start our turn northbound, 351. Let's take a look outside. Aha, okay. This looks like the town that we are talking about. Alright, let's make that turn heading 351. Continue that turn. And we're gonna apply these things that I learned. So heading, I'm gonna select a heading of 351. Then we'll start our timer. Then we'll do a gross error check. So we want little mountain on the left, bigger mountain on the right. And then another mountain behind there. And following a road. Once the road that we follow crosses US 180, it's another waypoint. We want to turn a bit to the right. And we're doing this for 19 miles. Let's see, we should be going over some sort of road. I think the road is that road there. As long as we keep that in our mind, then we should be fine. And then altitude, we're gonna maintain this, and a radio call. See if we need to change frequency. Let's get flight following.
Phoenix approach Beechcraft, November 24 Foxtrot Lima Yankee is type Beechcraft, be 58.5 miles north of Alpha Zulu 77. Request flight following.
Beechcraft, November 24 Foxtrot Lima Yankee Phoenix approach. Squawk 6762. Beechcraft Foxtrot Lima Yankee radar contact 7 miles north of Alpha Zulu 7710,600 feet. Altimeter tree 0.09er.
Alright, they have us in radar
Copy
contact.
Beechcraft Foxtrot Lima Yankee.
Beechcraft Foxtrot Lima Yankee contact Albuquerque Center on 124.5.
Alright, and they want us to contact someone else.
4.5 Beechcraft Foxtrot Lima Yankee. Albuquerque Center Beechcraft November 24 Foxtrot Lima Yankee 10,600 feet.
Beechcraft November 24 Foxtrot Lima Yankee Albuquerque Center. Continue as planned. Altimeter tree 0.09er.
Alright, so what just happened is we asked the controllers.
Center southwest 43905 is at flight level 370 descending 10,000 feet.
We asked them to actually take a look at what we are doing today. So they are gonna monitor our flight's progress, and as long as we keep safe, yeah, they're gonna have us on their radar and they know who we are. That's the whole point of flight following. And they asked us to squawk a squawk code. That digit appears on their radar screen. That's what that means. And then they handed us off immediately to another department. Okay, we're following this road. Let's see if this road has already crossed the other road. I don't think it did. There is a small lake that we just passed. That looks like that is on my chart. However, I'm not really 100% sure. If it is, that's perfect for us, because then I know whereabouts we are. Does it make sense? Is the little mountain just off our back? That's already a little further behind us, and the bigger mountain off to our right is just next to us. It's also already about 45 degrees behind us. Okay, makes sense. We can start seeing bits of the Grand Canyon ahead of us. See, there's a big gap there. Looks a lot like Grand Canyon to me. We want to be monitoring for a rather large road that goes diagonally across. And actually the next things, because this is a very important step of a Grand Canyon crossing, we want to have this reporting waypoint programmed. So we're gonna go to our G1000. We're gonna go direct to, and then we're gonna select Victor. So I go Victor Papa, which is
Beechcraft Foxtrot Lima Yankee contact Los Angeles Center on 124.85.
alright, let's do that first.
124.85 for Beechcraft Foxtrot Lima Yankee.
And let's contact them as well.
Los Angeles Center, Beechcraft, November 24 Foxtrot Lima Yankee, 10,600 feet.
Beechcraft November 24 Foxtrot Lima Yankee Los Angeles Center. Continue as planned. Altimeter 30.06.
Don't need to cancel flight following her. We do have to set our altimeter to 3006. Let's go Victor Papa Golf. Golf. Charlie Hotel. Is it really not in the database? Oh, that's annoying. Okay, so apparently this is not in their database. Which means that we're gonna have to do this manually. Which is impossible because this is a GPS waypoint. So what I was saying, there's a reporting point, Zuni Alpha. It's a visual point, so we should be able to see it as well. But Zuni Alpha is the entry point to our corridor. So we are going to be flying 10,500 feet along a corridor from Zuni Alpha down to Nankuyap Mesa, and then follow in the Marble Canyon actually. Which means that we want to be tracking through the Grand Canyon, and that's a VFR corridor. We don't want to deviate from it because this VFR corridor is the only. There's a couple of them, and the only areas that we are allowed to be flying through the Grand Canyon actually. I want the range to be a bit bigger on this guy.
Going to 127.55 Southwest 3389er.
Okay, I see this little lake that we're above. Tiny little lake. However, it is on my chart, which means we should make a slight course correction down to 256 degrees. Alright. And then continue. Turn off the next red for a bit. Don't need these, we're flying outside of the clouds. Alright, that airspace is clearly there. We are outside of their controlled airspace of Valley It's not really, it's not controlled airspace, it's just airspace. Alright, and we can see the Grand Canyon straight ahead, and we're going to be cutting across right there. We can actually nicely see the transition that we're going to be making. Off to our right should be the Grand Canyon Airport. It's over there. Should be getting there pretty shortly. Take a quick peek if we can see it. Don't really see it, no. Alright, that is fine. Let's continue with our track inbound. So, having crossed that, I'm gonna switch my VFR chart down to the Grand Canyon one. And then we can use the Grand Canyon references to see where we're gonna transition through. Nicely at altitude. It started to get a little bit dark. I think that is because of this rain cloud. I'm not really used to having this dynamic of lighting of clouds. That's one of the things that makes the simulator look pretty. Alright, Grand Canyon is straight ahead of us. We are tracking inbound nicely. Let's compare charts to see if this is actually something that we want to see here. Yeah, it looks pretty good in terms of tracking. Alright, I'm happy with the situation. Anyway, now I do have a little bit of time to say thank you to everyone watching. And anyway, if you like this kind of content, it's a little different than what I usually do. If you like this kind of content, do consider liking or subscribing, or both. If you don't, please do let me know, because yeah, then I don't do this stuff anymore. I'm not sure how I feel about this. I'm not as prepared as I would like to be. So I also have not landed this Baron yet. It's literally the first time I'm flying this thing, and it's actually a little bit nerve-wracking to be doing the first time on camera live here for you guys to see. Of course, if you're not watching live, that's also fine. Then you just know that yeah, when I did this was live and absolutely unedited. That's maybe I did edit it afterwards, I'm not sure, but might have to edit stuff like this out. Right, we're about an hour in our flight. Yeah, in our stream, actually, not our flight. We're not flying for an hour yet. Some part of it was preparation and loading times. However, yeah, it's actually looking pretty nice. I'm surprised that it worked out. So most of the Grand Canyon is gonna be off to our left. It's just because the route that I planned like this already is long enough, and I didn't want to make it any worse. And now, by going through the middle zone there, the middle crossing, it's called the... Let's see what it's called. Huh. It's not written there anymore. There's a corridor there as well. Alright, the Dragon Corridor. So we didn't take the Dragon Corridor, we're taking the Zuni Point Corridor through the Grand Canyon. Gives us a nice view of our left wing. As we are approaching the Grand Canyon, we want to start monitoring a frequency. So we'll go COM2 and we'll select 120.5. .5 in here. Oh. 0.5, and we'll click COM2 here. So now we are monitoring COM2 and still transmitting on COM1. In case there's any traffic overhead the Grand Canyon, we don't want to have a conflict with them. Alright, let's do a quick check here. Icing wise, we have nothing building up on our wings. Or do we? Maybe a little bit of icing on our wing there. I'm not sure. Does it show up here as well? Let's maybe get our ice slide on. Ice slide, that's that one. Does it show any more? No, it really doesn't do much. Alright, maybe we should get... Oh, it's 9 degrees outside. Okay, it's fine. It's not cold enough to be that much of a concern. I thought it was going to be colder here at 10,500 feet in the middle of winter over the Grand Canyon, because usually it is. Alright, and yeah, let's just enjoy the views of the Grand Canyon. When I was in Arizona, I didn't get the chance to fly here myself. I did visit, and it is... I never really was a fan initially before I saw it. I was like, oh, it's just a big hole in the ground. But when I got there and when I looked around, it was just breathtaking. It's so huge. You can only really understand how big it is when you finally get there. Alright, so the end of the corridor is when we cross over the Colorado River again. It's gonna be about there. We're gonna be crossing over. And then we're gonna be making a left turn, heading 349, which is basically following the Marble Canyon around. Might be worth doing that thing manually, because we're gonna be following that canyon, which is a bit more dynamic than what we have been doing up to now. And following the canyon, we will get to the Horseshoe Bend and Glen Canyon Dam, which are the viewpoints that we will see, and then we will see Lake Powell. I'll do a little turn around Lake Powell, around the Page end at least, because it's really big as well. I've been there as well. It's huge. And once we get there, we'll turn in and make a traffic pattern entry and landing in Page, I think. Yeah, because Page is also untowered. About to re-intercept the Virgin River, what am I saying, Colorado River here. This mouse setting is also strange. So it runs through here. This point is called the Nankoweap Mesa. And that means that from here on we can continue monitoring 120.05. That's 0.05. I made a mistake. Let's get back into the cockpit.
Going to 124.2 SkyWest.
It is actually... Oh, and it's not even selected. I made 2 mistakes here. So first of all, I had the wrong frequency dialed in. It's 120.0. Oh, that's too much as well. It's a little tedious. And when you're monitoring this thing, we want to have it in the active. It's really 2 rookie mistakes. Is Page not in here? Well, I guess not. And then let's disconnect the autopilot for a quick second. And turn off this flight director as well. And then try to maintain altitude and follow in the marble canyon sector here. Oh, it's a bit tedious. It's really sensitive. Alright, and we're gonna be following this river inbound, and I hope that I can recognize the horseshoe bend and stuff. Because from the air, I've never seen what it looks like. So we're gonna be following basically this bend in instead of a straight line, because we're VFR and this is fun stuff to do. Basically, if you watch my videos of X-Plane, that's more serious stuff, but I like it. It's good fun for me. And this is gonna be, I guess what I'm trying to achieve here is that in Microsoft Flight Sim, I'm gonna have some more fun. Just gonna do some stuff, maybe do some aerobatics one day in the extra, or do some VFR flying like this, because that's what it's really good for. Yeah, alright. But to get this stuff nicely streamlined, I think I'm gonna have to do a better job with setting up these settings. Right, we're descending slightly. Get back into the cockpit. Oh, bit turbulent here. Alright. This looks pretty cool. Next thing that we're going to be looking for, we want to be going out. We want to follow the airport and the river until we have the Marble Canyon Airport, apparently. I have never seen an airport down below in the canyon. Or actually it's next to the canyon, so we should be able to see it. Yeah, I've never seen it before, so don't know what to look for. Let's turn in and follow the canyon down here. Flying VFR like this, you want to keep stuff off to your left so that you can actually see where you're flying most of the time, instead of having to go look over your nose, which you can't really see much anymore. Alright. These views are still a bit annoying as well. We're a little low again. Not really flying that much. It should be in trim, but it's not really in trim. Curious to see what this landing's gonna be like. If it's gonna be anything like what I've flown before here in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Because the feeling is a lot different. In terms of flight model, I think I do like X-Plane a little bit better. Having flown a real airplane, it feels a bit more realistic, a little bit. However, this is also okay, I guess. It's not bad. It's not like it's unflyable, as you can see, but oh, did I lose connection for a second? Alright, it's fine. I'm back. Should probably check if my stream lost connection as well. Oh no, it didn't. It's fine. Alright. Let's take a look. We still have the canyon down below us, the Colorado River. Ooh, that's a big sink here. So what I was, yeah, you see, I lost more than 100 feet very rapidly. It's these downdrafts, and thermal activity here is quite large. It's the sun that's actually doing all of this. It's rather powerful. It's heating up certain areas, cooling down certain areas. It's creating clouds. It's doing a lot of, yeah. The sun is the energy that makes the weather work, so it also makes these up and down drafts work. By cheating and looking on our multifunction display here, we see that we're still nicely overhead, but like I've been doing this looking outside mostly, and also on our synthetic vision.
Los Angeles Center, continue as planned.
All right. Let's make that tiny bit of a course adjustment off to the left to get through following this river through. Let's do a quick verification to see if we can actually know where we are. So there's this ridge line. It's the Pariah Plateau. We can see that right here. It says Vermilion Cliffs, which is actually true. It's actually pretty nice to see from here. Alright, these Vermilion Cliffs are... we're actually still on altitude. Okay, that's nice. Are off to our left. That just starts there, so I have a pretty good idea where I am in the canyon. It's like we have a little ways to go until we get to the horseshoe bend and stuff. I think all of this stuff is where the horseshoe bend and stuff is starting. This looks like Lake Powell, if you can see. Yeah, that's Lake Powell, so Page is gonna be down there. Alright, we want to keep heading and tracking and nicely down here. I do like the way these clouds look. They really are something special compared to what X-Plane is offering currently. I did fly through some. And the way that the icing starts to stick to you is also really cool simulation. Looks pretty realistic, and you really can't see anything anymore unless you have a window de-icing system. Which I did with the airplane that I was flying. Because I was flying, I think, the TBM, and I got my windshield. And I was flying a Citation CJ4 as well. I did a flight, yeah, I did a test flight earlier today from, I think it was Innsbruck to Geneva, and yeah, the ATC in this game works pretty cool. It's actually really, it's simple. It's not that complicated, and you just select what you want and it does it, and it doesn't give you the freaky stuff that X-Plane sometimes likes to give you. And it actually gives you a proper approach when you're IFR, and it doesn't give you it gives you options for VFR departures as well, which X-Plane just doesn't have. And it really is convincing enough. I really liked it. So I used that to get me from Innsbruck. I was planning on going VFR in a Cub actually first initially, but since the airfield was IFR, I was using real life weather and the airfield was IFR, I decided to take the Citation CJ4, which is pretty similar in terms of design and in terms of procedures to the Citation S550 that I have for X-Plane. You have seen it before. If you didn't, I have a video on my channel of a stream that I did using the Citation S550. Also a real video, the first video that I made that has never been live streamed. was of a Citation S550. Go ahead and watch that if you want. The flight. Yeah, the CJ4 is pretty similar, so I had some more. I knew more what to do with that stuff. And it was actually pretty nice. They guided me in nicely. They made me descend on time. They didn't force any rapid descents. And their speed restrictions made sense. All of their calls just made sense, except for once that they transitioned me to Munich control and then back to Vienna in less than a minute, which to me doesn't really make that much sense. But if it's only that's wrong with their ATC, I'm not complaining at all. Meanwhile, I have been talking for a little while. And what we should see off to our left is the Paria River, which joins the Colorado River. And we don't want to be following the wrong canyon, so we want to be sure. Let's get back over here, take a look at the Colorado River, which is gonna make that turn. We did drift off very slightly. Let's see, that is the town of Page down there. We can start our descent. Let's go do a VFR descent to whatever seems safe. So I'll reduce throttle, leave these as leave the mixtures and props as required. I didn't lean the engine because I just don't know these proper lead temperatures, and it's better to leave it rich then. It's not that fuel is gonna be an issue anyway. Don't want to descend like a maniac. And then get power out. To want to have a consistent descent, and then we'll do a low VFR fly over. Let's get outside view for a quick second. Alright, and this is what everyone really likes, these very deep canyons. Let's actually follow these, that we can fly over the horseshoe bend as well. Don't know if it's better to stay outside camera or inside camera. I don't know what you guys prefer. I'd like to look at it from the outside here, 'cause inside you don't really see much. There's not much to see here, except for turbulence, so let's go back outside. Now, the trick is to identify from the sky which of these is... Ah yeah, this, ladies and gentlemen, is the horseshoe bend. I'm gonna go take a little wide berth around it and then take a nice look. It's maybe level of 6500.
Generic 1 Charlie X-ray contact Los Angeles Center on 124.2.
There it is, the horseshoe bend. I have been there in real life, and I can tell you it's beautiful. The only thing that I didn't like was all the tourists. I was a tourist there as well, but I kept it safe. I wasn't one of the tourists who tried to take a selfie at the edge. Because let me tell you, I've looked up enough articles online to see that people do fall off. It actually happens that people fall off the edge of this and the Grand Canyon, and when you fall down, it's not pretty. So, but what is pretty? It the thing itself, the horseshoe bend. It's just beautiful, and even in this game, I think it looks really stunning. If you compare this to the way it looks, even using the ortho photos in X-Plane, is what I was trying to say. It's not comparable. Let's see if I don't end up flying the wrong way. Yeah, we have to make that steep turn down there. Alright. And then follow down here. There's Page. Let's descend to 6500. And there is the Glen Canyon Dam. Also pretty nicely modeled, if I can admit that. Let's go back to the outside view because this is just too pretty. This is really, really stunning. Really great. I'm a little speechless. If you compare this to Microsoft Flight Simulator 10, or FSX, if you like to call it that, yeah, there's no comparison. The guys at Asobo really did a good job. There it is, the Glen Canyon Dam. Should try to grab a screenshot if I can remember how this works. But that is really too late. Alright. Stay in the outside view. And as we are here, let's try to contact Page. So I want to go back actually, and I want to cancel my flight following.
Los Angeles Center Beechcraft Foxtrot Lima Yankee cancel flight following.
Beechcraft Foxtrot Lima Yankee Los Angeles Center cancellation received. Squawk 1200. Frequency change approved.
Alright, I will squawk VFR and frequency change approved. So with that being said, let's tune Page Municipal Traffic. First get the weather maybe. Whilst we tour. 358 at 5. What runway do we have? It's gonna be runway 33. 2996. And got page traffic in here. Select the runway. We are gonna be using runway 33. And let's get our position.
Kilo Papa Golf Alpha traffic Beechcraft November 24 Foxtrot Lima Yankee 5 miles north 6,200.
Let's make a left turn, overhead the lake, and see what is going on. Turning back towards the airfield. Alright, and we'll go inside of the airplane for what's next. There's the runway that we're going to be landing on. And we're going to go in for downwind leg and then inbound there. Alright, for landing we'll go everything fully forward and start configuring here in a minute. We want to descend to 5300. This is 1000 AGL, so that's about here. It's very difficult to see out if we are actually... So this is our pattern altitude. Power it up a bit to not slow down too much. But not too much down either. Alright. And this is our downwind to land.
Kilo Papa Golf Alpha traffic Beechcraft November 24 Foxtrot Lima Yankee is on downwind runway 33.
Right. This is something that I really like as well, that you can actually get these calls made in something that makes sense. Alright, let's use everything that we have. There's the beginning of the runway. Want to turn in a little bit to parallel it on our downwind leg. We're a little high, so let's reduce our power a little and descend. Once we pass the threshold, I'm gonna go gear down and flaps approach. And then we can start a base turn once we get to a 45-degree angle with the runway. We can also start a slight descent when we get there. There it is. So speed is checked, gear down, we're in the wide arc, flaps approach. Everything is full forward, lights are as required. That's about a 45. Let's start our turn. So we'll call base. We don't want to descend too much. We don't want to slow down too much. And I want to make my announcement for base leg.
Kilo Papa Golf Alpha traffic Beechcraft November 24 Foxtrot Lima Yankee is on base runway 33.
So it looks like the terrain is sloping up a bit here. Descend a bit down and then final.
Kilo Papa Golf Alpha traffic Beechcraft November 24 Foxtrot Lima Yankee is on final runway 33 to land.
Alright, that is true. We're a little high, so let's get our flaps full. A little overshot, but we are correcting for that. Get her down a bit. Don't want to accelerate too much. Alright, we're on final. Clear to land. And I will make this one count. Alright, this picture looks pretty okay. Speed is pretty okay. We have the runway made. Ease back the power. And let it settle. There it is, and then ease on the brakes. Oh, my rudder pedals are a bit sensitive. And then we can get it down to a safe taxi speed, and we can vacate the runway. And let's announce that we are runway vacated.
Kilo Papa Golf Alpha traffic Beechcraft November 24 Foxtrot Lima Yankee is clear of the runway.
One of our friends is there, and we are actually not going to have to select anything for taxi. We're just going to go straight in. So after landing, we'll go our flaps up, and these landing lights can come off, and this strobe light as well. And then taxi straight into the ramp. Our friend there is going to take off pretty shortly, it looks like. Actually, I was pretty happy with how this landing went. And let's go straight to these T's and get in. Transient parking. I don't think these airplanes know how these T's work. You're supposed to park on one of them. Let's pick the one next to this Bonanza here. Let's go outside and cheat a bit. Actually, see, that one is the one we're gonna take. Okay, we definitely overshot that one a bit. This is very much differential power. You know what? We're gonna take the next one. Then we can at least establish nicely on that T. Let's get in there and park it. Et voila. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Page. Yeah, I think that's gonna be it for today. So I hope you really enjoyed watching me fly in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I hope you enjoyed. Please do consider liking and subscribing, because I might be doing more of this stuff. I will definitely be doing more X-Plane real life simulator stuff. It might be a little less in the coming weeks, since I'm gonna be going back to flying in real life, so it's gonna be a bit busier for me. However, I might be able to combine, we'll see. And yeah, a good way to find out if I'm gonna publish is to smash that notification bell as well, and then you will always be alerted whenever I publish a new video. Any recommendations or comments, please leave them in the comment section